Morning. So this is module 2 of our BPO, Business Communication. Modules 2 is all about communication and culture. At the end of the module, students are expected to explain the impact of culture in business communication, identify sources of diversity, and describe the elements of context in communication. So, what is the importance of global business? Since the world now, or each country today, is experiencing globalization, when we say globalization, it is a concept or a trend or a move in economy focusing not only in their country but rather to other countries as well. They share new ideas, share new technologies, share new cultures in relation to their country, and that's where globalization starts. So it says here that experts are essential to individual business, country's economy. Many companies depend on vendors who are located in other countries, and managers often find they need international experience for top level jobs. So the trend right now, as I have said earlier, is for these companies to recruit or find special individuals who reside in other countries, and they hire these people so that their culture and their culture and the technology from their country will be adapted here in our country. Okay, so that's the mere concept of globalization. Sources of workplace diversity. So we have gender, race and ethnicity, regional and national origin, social class, religion, age, sexual orientation, and physical ability. So when we say diversity, it is an idea wherein we have mixed cultures, we have mixed preferences, mixed languages. Now, the challenge here is how can you adapt to these diversities? How can you adapt to this diversification in your work environment? It is very important to consider other people's opinion, character, beliefs, and culture in order for that environment to work harmoniously. So we have to be careful when it comes to gender, the race and ethnicity, the social class, the religion, of course, the age, sexual orientation, and physical ability. Since men and women often have different reasons for communicating, male and female conversational styles vary in some interesting ways. Gender isn't always the most important factor in shaping language use. As we all know, men differs from a certain group of men or male communicate differently from a certain group of female or women. So we have to be very careful on that. When you are with the opposite sex or the opposite gender, okay, it is you have to adjust to your environment, or you have to adjust to the group of people where you are in. It's different when you are with your male friends, and of course, it's very much different too when you are with your female friends. They do not share the same idea, or they share the same idea, but literally, they express themselves differently. Men express themselves in a manly manner, whereas women express themselves in a femininely manner. So that's where the difference starts in. So we have values, beliefs, and practices. This is often unconscious, and after a response to people and situations, different cultures have different views of fairness, groups, competition, success, and social status. Shapes values. So the culture says that culture shapes values, priorities, practices, and modern businesses requires dealing with other cultures. So that's the mere concept of globalization. These modern businesses they have to at least adapt to other culture. Otherwise, they won't be successful in their agenda in promoting their business. Say, for instance, my business here in the Philippines, and I want to expand my business in Middle East or other parts of Asia. Of course, the culture here in our country is very much different from the culture in other countries, particularly in Middle East. So when I expand my business there, I have to adjust. It's mandatory for me to adjust to their preferences, to the Arabic preferences that suits their beliefs and culture. The culture of these people are very much different from the culture where I came from. So I have to adjust the way I communicate, the way I deal with people, with my environment. It's very much different. So that's where globalization starts in. It's merely an adaptation or adaptation to where you are. So what is the characteristic of a successful intercultural communicator? As I have said earlier, a successful intercultural communicator is aware of one's preferred values, flexible and open to change, sensitive to verbal and nonverbal behavior, aware of values, beliefs, and practices in other cultures, and sensitive to differences among individuals within a culture. Sensitivity is the key word here. Sensitivity. You have to be sensitive, you have to be aware of other people's belief and culture. It's not just you who is working on that environment. Please consider also the other people who is very much different from your beliefs and culture, from where you came from. It would be easy if you share the same belief. It would be easy if you share the same culture. But that's not always the case. If you will have the opportunity, or if you will get the chance working in a different environment, different people, mixed culture, so you have to consider their preferences, you have to consider their tastes, the way they talk, the way they see other cultures. You have to at least adapt to that situation, and vice versa. Also, those people or these people will also adapt to what you believe in. It's just a mere give and take. Okay, for you to work harmoniously, you have to adapt to each other's situation. Interpersonal communication. So this is communication between people, includes multiple skills. So we have different types of communication. We have listening, we have conversation, and there's nonverbal and networking. Networking, okay, it's where we communicate with the use of technology. Okay, so there are also certain situation, or there are also certain circumstances where you have to be very careful when communicating virtually. It doesn't mean that it's just a virtual communication. You have to you can consider that, or not to include that in your ethical behavior. But virtual communication is just the same as physical communication, and that's what we are doing right now. We are doing a virtual communication. Okay, so there are also certain circumstances, there are also certain guidelines when we communicate virtually. Okay, so what is nonverbal communication? Communication without words. So these are samples of these are signals, smiles, and gestures. As what they say, a simple smile could mean a lot. A simple gesture could mean a lot. Okay, a simple body language, when you tilt your head like this, or when you cross your arms like this, that would mean a lot to the opposite, to other person. Okay, when you put your hands inside your pocket, to some or to other cultures, it's a different thing. Or when you cross your arms in front of you, to other cultures, that would also mean another thing. So we have to be aware of where we are. We have to be aware of the people we are talking with. Okay? It can be misinterpreted as easily as words, and it is important to be conscious of signals sent and received. It doesn't mean that it's nonverbal, it will not affect the other person's opinion or interpretation. Nonverbal is as important as verbal communication. Of course, if we have nonverbal communication, we also have oral communication. It requires cultural understanding, so please be aware of understatement and exaggeration and compliments.